Pat, you have so many stories to tell, so where shall we start?
I don't know really. I always said pick my brain before I die, because once I'm gone, it's gone.
Well, I'd like to start before you got into the dance business, because you have quite an interesting life. You speak many languages.
I do. I speak 4 very fluently and 2 so-so, but I get along with them. So that's 6 languages. And it's wonderful because when you travel, you understand what people are saying. And people in the country where you go to, if you speak their language, they're nicer to you, especially in France.
Yes, very true.
France really wants you to speak French. But I came from a background which was very restricted because I was born in Persia. And my father was a diplomat. And my mother was an astronomer. And
oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, she was an astronomer. She was wonderful. She told us everything about our lessons like a storybook. It was so fun to learn from her because she told it to you like a story, not like a duty.
That's the best.
And so then we had an English nanny who was a spy for England.
Oh, really?
And, yes. And she was spying on my father because Persia had a lot of oil and Britain wanted it. And so they sent their spy.
When did you find out?
Well, I was 4 years old. So they fired the nanny and hired a German one. So that's how I spoke German. But because I learned it as a kid and didn't use it very much, I lost it. But it's like a computer. If I fly on Lufthansa and everybody speaks German, I understand it and it comes right back. Right. So to make a long story short, in Persia, dancing with another man is not acceptable.
Yeah.
So when I came to America, I had no clue what dancing was all about. And I was walking in New York, Fifth Avenue one day, and I saw a sign said Arthur Murray School of Dance. So I paced Fifth Avenue for a week before I had enough guts to go upstairs.
That's funny.
And they said to me, what do you want to learn? I said, I don't know. I don't know any names of any dances. I know one word, waltz Boston. Valse Boston in French is the slow waltz.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's Boston, I don't know.
I don't know.
And so they gave me a little test, trial dancing. They said, you have no clue what dancing is all about. So I was taking lessons and my teacher told me that you learn very well, why don't you become a teacher? And
But this was actually Arthur Murray's school, right?
right. He
School.
owned Fifth Avenue and 11 East 43rd Street, 2 schools, but he was himself at 11 East 43rd Street, and the management of the Fifth Avenue was his sister, who was married to Norman Kornfeld. So they ran the Fifth Avenue studio. So the manager was from Lebanon, Mr. Victor. He said to me, no, you're not going to make it as a teacher because you're too shy. Can you believe that?
No.
But you know something, Bonita, I really am shy. I'm a couch potato. I find myself very boring. My sister was the life of the party and I never was. I like to watch people and study people. I love that. I'm very happy just being a people watcher. And so he said, you're not going to make it, and that's all he had to say to me, that I wasn't going to make something. I wasn't going to prove him wrong. I said to him, put me in training class, you don't pay me for it anyway, so it's no loss to you.
What was your work at the time? What brought you to New York?
My mother sent us to school.
Okay.
My sister and myself, we came to school to finish college. So I finished Russell Sage. And so he said to me one day, you're not going to make it. You're too shy. And I said, what, am I fired? He says, I suggest you find another job, another kind of branch of work. I said, you have another studio here, may I go there? He said, yes. So I went to 11 East 43rd Street, and Mr. Murray interviewed me, and he said, why did you leave Fifth Avenue? I said, I didn't leave, I was fired because I'm too shy, and I can't sell. He said, when you came in, what did my sign say? did it say Arthur Murray School of Sales or did it say Arthur Murray School of Dance? I said, dance. He said, that's what you have to do, is be a very good teacher and teach good dancing, and your students will not leave you. Do not try to sell. So
Very good advice.
I've kept that all my life. I feel that people, I say to students, you have 2 words in your vocabulary. One is yes and one is no. Make sure you say the right one whenever you feel like it.
True.
And so, I don't know, I feel, I like people. I feel I look at people and I say, in the animal species, they only fight when they're hungry. In the human species, they fight all the time. Till all these third world country people came, we never even shook hands, Bonita. We just said hello.
Mm-hmm.
Now, shaking hands is a very worldly thing. It's giving your hand and give me your friend. This is not shake hand.
No.
This is a shake hand. So that shows sincerity. And so I like to hug people,
Mm-hmm.
to say, you welcome to my family. And when I had a school, because I'm older, I got away with hugging people when they came in. Believe me, a younger person couldn't do that, but an older person could. And I love people. I think people are wonderful. Every person, if you talk to them in their language, not literally French, Russian, but in the language that they understand, they're going to be your friend. They'll listen to you. But you see, I feel that unfortunately in the dance business, looking like you do, you always look professional because you are the trademark of dancing. We are what dancing is. And if we wear layered underwear, layered lingerie to go on the dance floor or to judge, that's not a very good representation of what we are. The organ that gets aroused, first of all, are the eyes. And I look at you and I'm impressed. Now I'm going to open my ears and listen to what you have to say. And thus we become friends and the barriers are gone. And I will listen to you and I respect you because you have represented your product really well. Think about it. People in Louis Vuitton, in Tiffany's, Gucci's, they're all youngsters, but they're all dressed to the nines. They all have beautiful manners, but they also have beautiful products to show you. So when you can touch something and look at it, you say, aha, I can envision this with my next suit. But dancing is what we show them. When you get on the dance floor or when you are coming in to greet the new student, if you look impressive, not shishi and everything, but nice, classical,
Clean
something
and
that suits you.
elegant.
That's right, and classy and elegant. Then you're presenting
Respectful.
That's right. It has to be. I don't think that all this nudity and these people don't even look in the mirror. I sometimes see nothing is wrong with having a full figure, but dress according to your full figure. Look at the mirror. If your legs are white and heavy, wear a longer dress, but they don't do that.
Bill Irvin used to talk about that a lot. It's very important to him that
It
ladies
is.
be properly
And
covered
why
and
didn't
presented.
Bill Irvin ever wear a toupee? Because he wanted his chrome dome to show on the floor so the judges would know how to find him. He was a very, very nice person, but the glue that kept that marriage together was her.
Oh, yeah?
She was an amazing person. She was a lady of ladies.
How did you first meet them?
They wanted to come to America. And so they came the first time. Somebody introduced me to them. And I was immediately fascinated by her because she was blunt but polite, terrific dresser, and has a great sense of humor. So she said she wanted to travel in the Arthur Murray chain. I said, I'll help you. I'll book you. So I started booking them in Arthur Murray dance studios.
Were you a teacher then, or
I was a
were you the
teacher.
dance director? When were you the dance director? You were for Arthur Murray's, weren't you?
Yes, 13 years. What happened is, I was a teacher, and then they made me a supervisor, and the male supervisor was my dance partner, Terry Leone. He had
So
all
you
the
met Terry in New York.
That's right. He's from Cleveland originally. He came to New York, and I looked at him. He was a handsome brute.
Very handsome.
And was such a personality. Oh my God. And I said to him, do you want to be my partner? I have an offer to do a show at the Tavern on the Green, and if you want to be my partner, we'll do it together. He said, sure. And so for 7 years, we danced at the Tavern on the Green every Friday night and every Sunday night. And it was an experience and a half. It was great. He taught me so many things. He taught me how to wear mesh stockings, how to put makeup on.
Really?
I mean, he knew more about what a girl had to do than a girl did. And I said to him, you should be wearing the dress, I should be wearing the. He said, no. So he was instrumental in teaching me how to present myself. And I was instrumental in teaching him how to talk in front of people. I used to sit next to him and tap him on the leg for the pace that he had to talk, because
Well, he became the voice and the face.
that's
of Arthur
right.
Murray for a
Yes,
long
right.
time.
He was a charismatic person, a really fantastic person. And I owe him a lot because he taught me a lot. But he also was very successful in everything he did because he had such charisma. I very often think about it, what place would he have today if he was still alive?
Yeah.
But anyway, so then I became a supervisor of all the girl teachers, and he became the supervisor of all the boy teachers. And my mother was a student.
Oh, she was?
Yes, I paid for her lessons, and she was a student in his group.
Really?
And she wouldn't tell me what they're doing. When we had contests, it was my mother against me. She was as tiny as I am tall.
Wow.
She used to call me mommy, and I used to call her daughter. And she was great, and she loved dancing, and she loved everything like that. And it was fun. And then my mother got cancer, and our president, George Tice, knew the home office moved to Florida.
Right.
And he said to me, you want to come to Florida? I said, no, I can't leave my mother. And so he made me director of dance research and development. So I used to write their training manuals. I used to run their competitions.
I read those training manuals from one end to the other, and I think I was the only one in my studio where I started. Many studios probably don't even have them, but they had those manuals, and I was the dance director after the first year I was there. So they had to read them because I read them in the dance sessions. We would take a page and we would discuss it. And they were wonderful.
Let me tell you something. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if you know this or not, but you were always my idol of dancing.
You never told me that.
You were, and you still are. When I saw you dance the bolero today, I said, God bless you, Bonita. You're the only one who's doing the correct bolero. Everybody else is on their tippy toes. You did it.
And I still do the way Sam.
That's right,
did the
Sam
bolero.
and Chuck Bannister.
Yes, and
I
Chuck.
will never forget. I used to watch those films and admire them and think, what a great dance. You're a fabulous, and a fabulous body that does exercises. I'm very jealous of you because I'm so lazy. Oh God, I wouldn't.
Maybe you've earned that right.
No, if I had earned that right, my leg would be better today because I'm lazy. I don't exercise.
Oh, you don't do your therapy.
No,
But at least you're walking.
that's true because I'm stubborn.
We
Because
know
I'm
that.
more stubborn than my leg is.
So who all did you dance with? You danced with all the big boys.
I did because I liked those boys. I danced with Vernon Brock, but the person I danced with most was Terry Leone. Then after that was Sam Sodano. I mean, I didn't compete with Sam, but we did shows together. And I danced with Vernon Brock and Pierre Dulaine and PJ Navarro, all the fun guys.
And Don Ramos.
And that's right, Don Ramos. I did not dance with Don Rule. I did a video film with Don Rule. And to this day, I talk to Don Ramos. I don't know what he looks like, but he sounds good on the telephone. And he's moving to Mexico to live there because it's cheaper than America.
So you and Don must have done training tapes.
We
at one
did
time for
training
Arthur
tapes,
Murray.
right? And I did it with Terry, and I did it with Don Rule.
Oh, I never saw the ones with Terry.
Yeah, I did it with Terry too.
I would love to see those.
I wish I could find one. I also danced on the Arthur Murray show, Merv Griffin show, and Harry Belafonte show.
Did you dance on the Arthur Murray show? I know
Yes.
you were on Merv Griffin.
No, on the Arthur Murray show.
Wow.
Yes.
How was it working for Arthur himself?
I was a brunette without red streaks in my hair, strictly brunette, and he didn't go for brunettes.
Oh, really?
He went for blondes with big boobs. He loved them.
Funny.
But he was very nice to me. He used to take a lesson from me twice a week, even though I was a brunette. And he used to say to me, if you had a Yiddish Kopf, means a Jewish head, instead of a Goyish Kopf, instead of a
Kopf head, yes.
as a Christian head, you'd be better off. You'd have some money. Because I was always broke. So he was very nice. He really was. And I got letters from him and Mrs. Murray from Hawaii as long as they were alive. I still have them.
Oh, that's a special treat.
Yeah. And then when they passed away, that was it. I mean, I talked to one daughter whose husband was the Dr. Heimlich.
Yes, she called me when I first moved to Cincinnati, and I thought it was a joke. She said, I'm Arthur Murray's daughter.
No, it
And
was.
I've been reading about you, and I said, are you seriously Arthur Murray's daughter? And my husband said, well, yes, she's married to Heimlich, and that is her.
And that's the Heimlich.
Yes, and
That's
at
right.
the time, I think she wanted to come and have lessons, but she didn't want anybody to know
That she's
who
a
she
Arthur
was.
Murray's
But
daughter.
then she didn't call back, but it was so strange to pick up the phone and have this.
That was
I'm
a
Arthur
true
Murray's
story.
daughter,
That's
so
a true
she
story.
really, truly.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's a true story. And he died, Dr. Heimlich. But my life was saved. I was at this camp maybe 4 years ago.
With the Heimlich maneuver?
That's what saved my life.
Oh my goodness.
We were on a boat.
Yes.
On a
took a
Thursday,
cruise,
they took
yeah.
you on a cruise. And I was eating either a piece of steak or a piece of chicken, and it got stuck in my throat. And Tony Shepard did the Heimlich.
Oh my goodness.
He said, put your arms up, put your arms up. And he went, vroom, vroom. And there it was.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
What a story.
The Heimlich method worked. It worked.